Hi, everybody.
Hold up. Is it a bad omen when your guest says, "How long is this going to last?" In the back, is that bad? We'll find out.
No, he just wants to know how long he's going to have fun.
Until 6 hours, okay? But we'll take potty breaks. It's okay, Mark.
With you and I, it could last 6 hours.
Oh man. Well, hey, welcome to my clown show. Nobody watches the first minute, so that's why I just do whatever. All right. Then I see somebody make a comment and I start acting right. That's what we do here. All right. So Isabel, how are you?
I am fine. Thank you for asking. I got a haircut today.
Good. I
Yeah.
did too on my face. Lion,
Did you?
do you trim your own mustache or do you have that professionally done? Because I would say professionally.
No, I waxed. Yeah.
Yes.
No, not your mustache. I was talking to a lion.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I trim my own one.
Oh, hey, it took me a while, but if you get a protractor out, it helps a lot. That's just I don't know. Anybody else out there? Zen Sandwich. Does Mark have a mustache?
I don't think so.
Well,
No,
send us a picture of your mustache, Mark. We'll have a mustache contest. We'll have some more fun here soon, man. Everybody's been busy working. All right, so let me show this. This was 2 weeks ago, and dadgummit, I didn't even think about it. So this is the graphics thing. Claudia didn't do these. I did these, as you can't tell. So this is a picture of an old abandoned outhouse. All right. Here's what I think's funny. There's his and her seats. So yeah, there's 2 seats here, and even I'm not this country. Okay. So yeah, I'm still lost on it. I don't know if it's a number 1 hole and a number 2 hole, or if it's, let's walk, 10 feet in the snow to go to the bathroom. I'm not sure, but there you go. That's what I did for fun 2 weeks ago. That's an abandoned chicken coop on this property that's been around since probably maybe at least the 60s. And the thing's still standing, and it's wow. There's a mailbox in here. It blew my kids away because they're not this country, right? There's an old shelter, right? So that's what you see here up on the right. There's an old like storm shelter. It's really cool. There's block and bricks that they put these stones on to go up and down it. And yeah. Anyway, that's what we do for fun. So y'all think that I'm not the real deal. There you go. And I've got more pictures. So if you want to see them, something's wrong with you, but I'll show you if you want to see them. Well, there you go. So how was your weekend? How was Easter for you, Lion and Isabel?
You're muted, Isabel. Let me help you out.
Sorry about that. My weekend, I can't tell you the joy I had, Mike. On Saturday, I went to the birthday of a 1-year-old. Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. They really live in the moment, right? They live like right here and like they're hungry now. They want to poop it's now. They want to do their thing. It was wonderful. And it was like a sugar shack meal, so we ate like pigs, and the ham and the bacon and the maple syrup and everything is drowned in maple syrup and cinnamon buns and oh my god, it was delicious. So Sunday all day I just digested.
Well, honestly, I heard half of that because I saw Christine Jones say pink mustache, and my brain just went out into the outhouse. So, Mr. Lion, good for you, Mr. Lion. Did you have fun? Good Easter?
Yeah, we did. We're going to have way more fun. We're heading off to the mountains tomorrow morning for a vacation. Getaway, well deserved. So yeah, I'm enjoying it and getting ready for it.
Good deal. All right. So since we're such a talkative bunch, would you like to go ahead and run the intro where people are here, they're ready to see the great Russ Hedge and whatever crazy stuff comes out of my face. Y'all ready to go?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. We are off.
Are you looking to grow your business and your mindset alongside a fun and awesome pack? Grab a chair and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashebrainer, the business mechanic, and his win-win network for the Hounds of Business Happy Hour.
All right. And you keep muting yourself. Would you blow your nose? Is that why you're muting yourself?
Yeah, I'm coughing a lot today.
You got like really like a foghorn?
No, I
Like,
cough.
yeah. Okay.
Every time I'm on the
Yeah, I'm in.
live, I cough a lot. I don't know why.
Well, hey, I'm just sitting here wondering how long it's going to take for Russ to just leave and blame it on the internet. We'll see. I'm trying real hard, man. We'll see how gracious he really
Russ
is.
wouldn't do that to you, dude. Come on. This is a
I
class
don't
A
know.
gentleman.
He is a class act, man. He put up with me. Dadgummit, you know it. All right. So let me go through this. This is a short list. We want to promote things out here. These are hounds, man. These are people getting things done, making things happen, going through all the crap it takes to be an entrepreneur and do great things. So this is Mr. Lion. He and his wife, they got this business. I got the coffee, and y'all know me. I said, well, two things will happen. Either I'm going to promote the coffee because I like it and I want to share it, or I'm going to forget like I even heard about it because I don't want to say it's bad, right? But this is really good. Here's the thing. If you're a hardcore coffee drinker, I looked at it. I said, "This is really light, like really light coffee." And I like espresso French roast, so I dumped a lot of this, like maybe at least a third of the bag in there, and then I was getting on my own nerves for 6 hours on a caffeine high. So drink with caution. It's good stuff. Check it out. Scan the QR code, and if you can't get it, go talk to Lion. He's in the Lion. You go in the chats and say hi, man, so people can hook you up. But this is good. Most of it smells like Senate potpourri and it tastes like garbage. And this is actually a real good blend. So good job. I'm glad I didn't have to pretend like I never drank it. Good job. All right. Um, let's see. One day this will. All right. Now this was aired last week. It's on my profile. It's on the Hounds. Sandra Gonzalez. The big thing is, hey, April 9th. So it's bi-weekly right now. This goes on the air. All right. On ESPN Richmond. It's Mike King Biz. He's a Hound, man. We love being with Mike King and rolling with him. He pushes up his local community. And now together we're going global. So make sure you get this because special guest. I'm not going to spoil it. You want to see this? I'll be posting it out soon. Uh, Very special guest coming up on April 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern, New York City time. All right. So make sure you mark your calendars. I'll have that post up probably tomorrow, Friday at the latest. And this has been a really fun show, and it's short. It's not like this show where it goes on until midnight, Russ. We forgot. We got to put that in the email. Hey, grab some diapers and a thermos because it's going to be a while on Mike's show. This one ends in 25 minutes because we have to for the airtime. So good deal. So make sure we see that. And then who doesn't need an extra dose of sexy confidence, right? Like, I'll mess it up. It reminds me of Austin Powers with the mojo, right? So whether you're, again, this event is for November 15th to the 18th. Sandra is, amazing. What, 20 years in the Marine Corps officer. She walks the walk as well as talks the talk and just inspiring. So if you're a CEO, business owner, you're trying to get to next level, even if you're confident, right? We can always use more, be around people like us, network with the best. Just go to Sandra, her website, her LinkedIn profile. Man, when I see winners doing great stuff, that's all I need to know. I don't even care what they do. I just want to be around people doing greatness. And she does a lot. So you won't be sorry. Go check this out, inquire, check out her content, get to know her. She is amazing, and we love having her in the pack, love having her in the Hounds 1,000,000%. So thank you, Sandra, for that. Uh, and what you do for all people, not just veterans, but we all love our veterans, no matter what country you're in, right? And so, thank you for taking things to the next level. Thanks for bringing your inspiration and your experience to help us grow our businesses and our personal development. All right, and then, oh yeah, this one I got to brag on this lady. I wish I'd known her a long time. I read a book called E-Myth. And, I was like, wow, this really, because you do a job and you have a skill and you go out there and try to work that skill. And then you realize your employer did a whole lot more that you wasn't aware of, right? Accounting and
Yeah.
marketing and brand positioning. So if you're lost in the weeds and you think that you're not cut out for entrepreneurship because you don't know what to do, well, join the club. But then call Christine Bell. Like she's my go-to. I go to her to bring into clients when I sit down with them and coordinate projects to help them get to the next level. And it's not just newbies. She has worked with KFC. I mean, huge corporations. She's got a really big background. So to be able to tap into her knowledge, and she's so good at helping entrepreneurs and small businesses, seriously. And you definitely need to get a hold of her before I have a pricing. She's charged too low, so hurry up and get her before I talk some sense into her. But thank you for that. She is brilliant at brand strategy, and I met a marketing person the other day that couldn't stop talking about him. So this person had a real big resume for 30 years, and they're like, "Man, Christine is amazing." So go invest in yourself. Go figure out the roadmap and strategy and then do it the right way. Don't piecemeal it and drive yourself crazy and waste money. Go find someone who can lay out that roadmap, the A to Z playbook, and help you along the way. Because whatever you try to shortcut now, you're gonna have to make up for in time and money later. Okay. So don't do like I did. Go seek wisdom. There it is. And by the way, look at the people in the chat, look at the people on stage. Look, the Hounds is bumping. Our publicity hub, Level Up Academy, CJ. We've got leadership with Isabel, Christine D, the welcome wagon, right? It's like, man, Walmart would be jealous of me, man. I got the best welcoming people on earth. And we're doing amazing things, amazing collaborations are happening and we're getting business done and we're doing it in a fun attractive way. So all that being said, reach out to a hound and put on there if you're a proud hound, say I'm a hound. Let other people that are new here reach out to you guys, network in the comments, don't pitch slap, but connect, follow, get to know each other, ask Russ questions. We'll do our best to get to those questions, but have fun. This is a good time to learn, network, let your, it's hump day, it's Wednesday. All right, so scan that QR code, send us a message, and would love to teach you and show you more about the Hounds. It's a special community. If you're heart centered and you're a high level professional and you just like to attract people and go out there and help the right people and let that reciprocity go back and forth like a ping pong game, dadgummit, you came to the right place. So without further ado, Isabel, anything to
Yes.
add?
No, you've got it covered, dude. You're doing such a great
Thank you.
job.
Yeah, I'm on a roll, man. I'm like, man, I've been
Yeah.
watching yeah, I've been studying. And you got a lava lamp that you're pretending is a microphone. So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
my mic had to have attitude, honey.
well, let's bring up the one and only. I wish we had I'm gonna get that soundboard so we can clap. Russ
Whoop, whoop,
Hedge,
whoop. Yay! We'll clap.
how are you? Absolutely.
Hey, so great to see you guys. It's what a blessing to be here. I am so proud to be a hound and just amazed to be here at this happy hour for hounds. I'm like every hour of the day is happy hour for me. I'm just a happy guy.
Thank God for
You
that.
are a happy guy.
Yeah, I just have one question for you, Mike. When do I get to be on
What's that?
ESPN with you? Oh, actually, I have two questions. When do I get to be on ESPN with you? And second of all, do you have a change of hat and a change of shirt for every day for your branding? Like
Let me ask.
a whole bunch of these hats and a whole bunch of these shirts.
I'm like Charlie Brown. I'm pretty much, I've got like 3 outfits that I coordinate to about 9.5. So no, here I go like it. Oh no, I gotta wash it, and then I wash it. And yes, it's in a wash tub. And what was the first question? Look, I've been lost control, man. What?
When are we on ESPN together? Come on. I love that. I'm dying to be on ESPN. Come on.
Actually, it could be happen sooner rather than later, man. Because I want to talk to you about that off camera. We don't want to talk about it
Okay.
here. But you and I, this is what I love about it. You and I coordinate and collaborate with anything moving, right? Like we always see collaborations. We see things that nobody can possibly see, and sometimes we just ramble because we don't even know how to communicate what the hell we're seeing, right? Um, but that's what I like about you. You always surround yourself with some of the best people, heart-centered folks. You all create things and you attract people. And it's just like I said with CJ, Dr. CJ and Level Up Academy. It's like when they put the peanut butter and the jelly in the same jar for the first time. Remember that? I'm still
Yep.
talking about it. Was it like 20 years ago? It's amazing. And
You
that's
know, it
how I
never
feel
got
about
to
it.
Canada, right? You know that, right?
Oh, really? Because it won't stop snowing. That's the problem. Like, I mean, and you just throw the jelly outside. You don't anyway. All right, so we got Russ here. You built a big community or network of people, and you've got a lot going on. But let's start with this. Tell us about your beginnings, right? Tell us about the early stage of Russ before you got on LinkedIn, before all this became a thing. Like, what were you doing before we knew you as we do today, brother?
Well, it's interesting. Great question, because really all that, of course, is pre-COVID and is really Wow, it's really kind of I don't know. I mean, it's probably started when I was in college, and that's only been a minute or two ago. But I have been I just love people and always have been attracted to groups of amazing people doing amazing things. That's why I'm a hound, and that's why I'm around the two of you. And so I was always very, very active building community. And I really, I mean, I found out, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I mean, if you just be friendly to people, it's not that hard, and you smile and you talk to them and you listen, you can build this amazing community. And so I started doing that in business. And that's really where the whole hashtag Russ Selfie broke out of. So my show, Marketing with Russ, hashtag Russ Selfie. Um, that show, or that hashtag Russ Selfie, all was born out of networking, community, and having fun. Because I found out when you took a selfie, first of all, everybody dove into it and made goofy faces and laughed and had a great time, number one. Number two, half the people I didn't even know, and I tagged them on social media. And the next week, they're hugging me like I'm their long lost friend from forever ago. I mean, suddenly we've been the best
Right.
friends for years, and they've been in one selfie with me, right? So I started
Right.
doing things like this in person, and then voila, the new Russ comes out because we have COVID and the world shuts down. And suddenly I realize I have got to find a way to do this online and get people together, because I'm going to dry up on the vine because I need people, right? My
Right.
beautiful wife and my daughter, when she moved back to the area, I hugged them about 50 times a day because I had nobody else to hug and nobody else to, I had no other
Right.
people. So yeah, they got all my attention, which probably was a good thing. But I just learned to go online there, and we could talk about it all day long. But that is when I launched into the online community, and my good friend D. Scott Smith, who does the Experience live backstage and the Experience local with me, said to me, "Hey, have you ever been on the Zoom thing?" This is like the month before COVID, and he goes, "There's this great networking group globally. I want you to be on the Global Tea Break." And I said, what in the world is Zoom? I have never heard of that. I have no idea.
Right.
And so he goes, oh, it's easy. I'll help you. And he shows me, I go to this meeting, the world shuts down. Next thing you know, the next month, I'm teaching everybody how to be on Zoom, because I'm like going, come on, people, we need to all get together. And so that's where the online community was born in my life.
Oh, dude. All right, so y'all heard my story. I'm like, when the COVID hit and they told me I couldn't go out and play anymore, and I was like, "Am I gonna be homeless?" Like it was such a like, oh, what the heck? And you were part of that crowd too. So you and I, we didn't grow up with cell phones and social media, right? So we're kind
You
of
know,
late to the game. And Isabel, you could chime in on this because we weren't born with cell phones.
No.
So, what was your experience? I mean, you had guidance, but was it choppy in the beginning? Did you feel awkward? Was it, did you have a lot of crappy meetings? Because I did, but you're nicer than me, so you probably didn't. So, tell us about the early day experience. Was it
I,
good, or what did you?
Well, I honestly feel really blessed by God, because this whole thing was really a very smooth transition for me, because I met with my friend D. Scott Smith for coffee in October of 19, 2019, and he says, "Hey, I'm working for a corporation. I'm sales and marketing manager." He goes, "Have you thought you need to start a side hustle? Have you thought about like doing coaching, like marketing and sales coaching? Because you do that already." And he goes, "Have you thought about like keynote speaking? Because you do that already, but you could do it for yourself on the side. And have you thought about maybe podcasting? What about writing a book?" And I'm like, "Whoa, dude, hang on. You're like blowing my mind. I don't even know what you're talking about, much less, I'm working 12 hours a day." So I took that meeting and I started in motion, got a website, started ideas, outlined a book, started trying some podcasting, just dabbling, because I was working way too much to do hardly anything. He gets me on Zoom at a global meeting, the first part of 2020. And then the world shuts down. And I feel like God had positioned me for such a moment as that. I was just like, I felt like I had been called really to really go out on my own. I really had. I really felt like it was time to do that. My beautiful wife said to me, "Hun, if you really want to do your own business and you feel like God has really called you to do this, he just cleared the decks for you. You've suddenly been given all this space because, Mike, you and I are going 100 miles an hour. Well, the world shut down. And it's like, I have nothing else to do, right? Except for figure this business thing out. And so I started into it. And really, it was like I had taken one step at a time. And then when it hit, I just jumped in, right? I just jumped in the deep end and I said, let's go with this thing. And I started doing all this crazy stuff online, which I was figuring out as I was going, hugging my wife and daughter 500 times a day, taking the dog on 5 to 6 walks. I mean, my dog, who loves to walk, would look at me after the 5th walk and go, my wife and her going out again because we couldn't go anywhere else. And she looks at me and she's going, really? Another walk? She's worn out. I mean, I am just going 100 miles an hour trying to keep busy. And I also, what I did, Mike, that really helped me and Isabel, I kept my same schedule. So what I did was I got up in the morning, I maintained my morning routine. I didn't change it. Then I also maintained a lot of the networking meetings that I was going to every week and, weekly things, because I got them all on Zoom. And so then I said, hey, let's do this. So I was able to get some continuity with my life outside of being in person. And that really helped me because then I kept certain meetings during the week. They all jumped on board and I was still doing my same morning routine. So it really kind of helped launch me into all that I was doing. Within 5 months, I'd written my first book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. You guys got to learn those hand motions. Ready? Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. There you go. CJ's got them down. There you go. And so I wrote that and all was history from there, man. I loved it. I was just waiting to become a hound. That was my next step.
Oh man, hey, flattery gets you everywhere. Go ahead, Izzy.
I was just going to say, oh, that's fabulous. How was that transition from, like, other than the fact that you were hugging your wife and your daughter 500 times a day because that's what you needed because you didn't have any other human interaction. And I, by the way, Russ, totally get you with the dog thing. I adopted my dog during COVID, and he thought he had been adopted by the walk heaven goddess because we walked literally 7 miles a day, like every single day, rain, shine, just snow. We just walked, and he was in heaven. But when I went back to work, he was like, "Huh? What do you mean 3 walks a day? No, I'm used to 6. Let's go." End of that story. But how was that like going from in-person meeting and shaking hands, and like I know you found out what Zoom was and you kind of built that, but like was that transition seamless for you, or was there a lot of well, obviously learning new things, but adaptation to this new way of doing things?
Yeah, oh, I think there always is. I mean, you gotta move with it and change with things as they go. But I think I really honestly feel blessed that like it's almost like God said, get ready. Here's what we're doing. So I need you to take the first few steps and learn these things because you're going to need them here. And when it comes, you're going to jump off and take that big leap into the deep end and you're going to start going. And so what I'd really had was an idea of how to do it. I was no expert by any means, but I knew enough to be dangerous and I knew enough to get other people involved and I could screw us all up at the same time, but we still had fun. And so, we just started working through things and yeah, it was different because I'm an in-person kind of guy. I'm a hugger. I'm a people person and I jump into the room and here we go. Right. And I love speaking to people. As you could tell, I'm really shy.
Yes.
And so I'm like, yes, I mean, people fire me up. And so I had to learn how to get fired up online. And what I found was there were cool people like you guys online that were also trying to find community. And I think it was like hyper speed on community building when COVID hit. And I found it to be a blessing. I'm not COVID. I mean, COVID was horrible, but I found all that came with it for me because I'm the kind of guy that keeps a positive mindset and perspective as to what's going on.
Mm.
This big thing here really sucks, right? We don't like that. But these kind of things over here that are happening are kind of cool. So I'm going to focus on the cool things and the stuff going on and have a good time and forget about what sucks as best as I can, because then life will be so much better. I mean, you know me, I am the live the life you choose kind of guy, and I choose to be happy. I choose to be purpose driven and be encouraging and inspiring to others. Thus the inspiration specialist title. And I wanted to keep doing that. So I had to find outlets to do that. And I think because it was kind of an exciting adventure almost, that it really helped me along the way. I mean, yes, there were some bumps when it first started. I'll be completely honest, but I adapted pretty quickly and moved forward, and so it was great.
Let me. So you touched on something that I personally experienced, and I want to see what the people in the comments. Man, I love this. Thank you guys for bumping the comments. Ask questions, get to know each other, man. This is fun. So Russ, I'm the same way. Like I wanted to meet people and face to face. I couldn't sit still, and now I sit in my office shed all day long. And even the dog, when I go anywhere, the dog's like, "Did Dad's gone?" Like I'm always here. But here's what I noticed when I met people that I've talked to for months and years or a year, and I met them in person, right? Because I don't use real life. Because I'll be honest, like most of my best friends are not in my town. I mean, that's just So did you feel that too? Like when you met people, it was like you knew them your whole life, even though you never met in
Right.
person.
Absolutely. Actually, referring back to my good friend who lives right here with me in Oregon, doesn't live with me, but in Oregon also, D. Scott Smith. And he and I both graduated from Oregon State in 1987, didn't know each other because the school was huge. And we graduated the same year, met through business later on. But he did an entire talk in Dublin, Ireland, on the scientific fact that you can create amazing connections and friendships as good as in person through an online experience like this. If you are intentional about it and if you really are purposeful about how you're going about it. Now, you're missing the best part, which is when you can, shake hands. I'm not a big handshaker, or hug the other person, right? But it's true. You can actually become amazing friends with people all over the world. And I have some incredible relationships and friends in crazy spots all over the world, right? And that all came about because of this. And when I met them in person, I met several in person. I went back to Tim Stone's Perspectives on Cancer, by the way, shameless quote about my most recent book out, Perspectives on Cancer, Volume 2. Went back to the Scranton, Ohio, or Scranton, Pennsylvania last year for the conference, and I met Tim Sohn and I met Andrea Sanchez and so many cool people that I'd never met in person, and it was an amazing experience. And I've had a lot of them come out here to Oregon. I had Dr. Noopy, who I produced her live stream. She flew out to Oregon to hang out. And yeah, there was just some amazing people that have come by and visited me. Bruce Carnahan, the man in the blue shirt, love Bruce. He drove up here to see me. Just some great stuff. So I agree with you 100%. When you see them, it's like you've been amazing friends forever, because you have. I mean, well, maybe not forever, but you've developed these great relationships.
Is there
And
anything weird about meeting them? Like, do you have a moment where you go, "Okay, this is strange because I'm used to seeing you on a flat screen." Like that. Honestly, I haven't met. Like I'm all the way in Montreal, Canada, and I haven't met any of the Hounds member. And I couldn't be closer to Mike if I tried. I'm extremely close to D. Grant Smith, to so many, to Kevin that lives in France, to Lisa Marie in Australia, and Christine Bell, that are most of them in the audience. But I have a funny feeling that when I'm going to meet them in person, there's going to be a moment where, like, this is strange. Did you ever feel that way?
well, I feel that way more about the people that are right close to me. Like, I mean, honestly, my friend Scott, D. Scott Smith again, he lives less than 30 minutes away from me. We almost see each other on the screen 99% of the time, but we intentionally go out to coffee occasionally. And it is kind of weird saying, oh, wow, you are a real person still. I think more often those kind of people, the people I met on screen, it's no, I mean, the biggest thing is I'm always surprised that a lot of them are either taller or shorter than I thought when I meet them in person. The women are taller. Of course, I haven't met CJ yet because I know she's short. Most of the women are taller and the men are shorter. That's basically what I've experienced so far. But yeah, it's been it is a real blessing. And the one person, you got Susanna Dawn here, part of the group, and she is right here in Portland. She and I have not actually met in person yet.
And she's
And I'm up
tall.
in Portland. Yeah, she's like 40 minutes
5'11".
away from me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she's tall.
5'11".
Yeah, she'll be as tall as me. So
Yeah, I see again. I thought some of the women I thought were like 8 foot. They are actually 4 foot or 5 foot. So it was the backwards with me because and here's what's fun. Let me throw this in there and then we'll transition. But this is like I live in a very modest working class neighborhood in the country. So there's not many people here. There's little pockets of everything. And I love the people around me, but there's just they don't think like I do. And I think a lot of people resonate with that. Like we grew up in middle class neighborhood, but then you go online and you're connecting with people talking about changing the world and building a business. And not very many people, if anybody's really doing that here. So for me, and I would love to know what the audience and people think. For me, I connect way better because we have more in common. Like it's weird that I love being face to face, but now I'd rather just be sitting here most of the time, connecting intellectually and spiritually and all that with people who I really get. Does that make sense? Does anybody experience that? Like, it's just not coming on and posting and zooming. It's, they're family and they're people that you really push you up. I mean, I talk to people online more than I do anybody in person anymore because I connect to them, right? And I'm finding ways to bring them from Australia here and Canada here. Like I'm gonna rent my shed out. We're gonna have like 60 Canadians in this thing, dude. It's like 8
I'm
by
the
12.
only Canadian in the house, Mike.
Oh, we're gonna have to turn the air conditioning way the hell up for Isabel, right? She's not gonna be able to handle it. But is anybody in the comments and you two, have you experienced that yourself? Like it's just more inside of you. It's just more fun to connect with people who see your vision, and I don't see that around my locality that much.
yeah. Well, as people are putting questions out there, I just want to say that you know, I think one of the most fun experiences is what we're talking about is building this cool community and not really knowing everything about people because you haven't been, as Scott would say, in 3D with them. Um, you get to see them, and then it kind of completes the package, right? And then you figure out, are they tall, short? You figure out if, I mean, those things aren't really that important, but it frames your perspective of people, because you're used to seeing all that. And but yeah, I think I'm on a quest to keep meeting as many people as I can. I'm going to head back to Vermont this year for to speak at the Perspectives on Cancer again, and try to get other places as well. But I'd really love to go over to Dublin, Ireland. I've got so many great friends over there, and so yeah, I'm just really excited about meeting more people, and especially the hounds, right?
Oh
Well,
yeah,
Rusty,
and I don't even go
no,
to the
go ahead,
grocery
Mike. Go
store
ahead. Go
anymore.
ahead.
Real quick, no, because I don't even go to the grocery store. But I did meet Gabe, and he was just like he looks and acts just on the screen. Like seriously, it's he's probably the most, yeah, like real life. Like when you meet Gabe, he's this tall like he is on the screen and everything the same. I'm joking, Gabe, man, but yeah, I mean, I love that in the congruence of just connecting with people at the heart level. And we're going
Yeah.
to do a Hounds retreat. Everybody's working their tail off because we want to make a huge, we want to make like rent out Freedom Hall or something, right? Like and make this happen because I'm with you. Like I want to meet the people and be around them, and it's exciting. Go ahead, Izzy.
No, I was just gonna say I live like an hour away from Vermont. So Russ, when you come to Vermont, if you're not too far from the border, just let me know. I'm gonna drive down. But there's a
There you go.
legit question from our friend Mark Reed there in the comment section. Maybe we can attack that. What the? I'm not good at reading this. Do you see it, Russ?
Is that the one from?
Yeah,
Here's a
from Zed.
legit question.
Yes.
As you build your net, okay, we're getting legit now. Here we go.
Yeah.
We got to
Well,
be serious.
Mark does that once in a while. He
To the-
asks a real question.
Okay, so this is a good question. This is a really good question because you're right. It can become overwhelming. I'm a firm believer in what Jim Rohn said, and that you are the average of the 5 people closest to you, right? So I keep growing and expanding. That's why I became a hound. I'm trying to get around better and better people all the time. And, it's interesting, by the way, Lisa Marie was personally coached by him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty jealous about that. But anyway,
Oh, wow.
what I do, Mark, is I really focus and intentional about. I have a certain number of people. I actually set a goal, certain amount of new people every day I'm going to connect with, and then a certain amount of older people, not old, but past friends that I haven't really connected with recently that I go back and say hey to. I continue to throw out my live link on my calendar for people to jump in, old friends and new friends. And I just really work at it. It takes a lot of work. And I also go out and do it in person. I go to coffee shops because, Mike, even after COVID, you said you're stuck in your computer most of the time. I would die. I actually go out half of the day and I go out and I see people and I run around and then I come in the other half of the day. I mean, maybe it's reversed of that, but it depends where I'm going and what I'm doing. But I try to split that up so I get a little bit of both because I think there's a fine balance, with all of that stuff. And the biggest honor to me is when somebody calls me. I had Cami Hoyza call me. I don't know if you guys know Cami down in Houston, Texas. Does the social media breakfast, is an amazing online social media marketer. She was one of the people I met early on and was the way ahead of me. And she wrote one of the endorsements on my first book, on Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. And she is down in Houston. She came to Portland with her family. She called me and said, hey, Russ, my family and I are coming into Portland. Love to get together and meet you in person. And I drove up there, we got together, and it just was such an honor. People like that, and like Bruce, and like so many, David Alto, and just so many people that have called me on their way through town. And they've said, hey, I'm coming through. I'd love to meet you. And just being able to do that, it makes me feel good that they think enough of me to want to call and actually get together. And that, that's where true friendships really come and are solidified, going from that online to in person when they're really wanting to spend time together. And so I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because you're a likable ass guy, man. You're the real deal. You're the same dude. People like to be around you. You never say a cross word. Of course, I take one virtual Russ over 10 people get on my nerves any day with negativity, right? So, real quick, let me chime in. And I think this is why me and you really, it took us a couple of years, but, when you build a network, that's a good sign. It's like the beginning. It's like arithmetic. And then you go to algebra and calculus, right? So to me, I look at network and people, you're finding your tribe, people are vibing with you, you're starting to get it, but it's still kind of hard to keep up with. And that's why, putting people in the hounds, now we're taking them off competitive rent of space. We're putting them in a room together. And now we're able to coordinate, work together, get to know each other better. So networking to community is just kind of the next step. It's like dating to marriage, in my opinion. What's your take on that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say that I'm a firm believer that connection and community building is the foundation for everything we do. The foundation of business, the foundation of life. It is the foundation for any good marketing plan. I'm a marketing coach. First thing I'm going to tell people is, who's your people? Where are your people? Why aren't you connected to your people? Because as Zig Ziglar says, you build the people and then the people build your business, right? If there's no people, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're selling a product or a service, if you've got a nonprofit, if you're a pastor of a church, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If there's no people, it ain't happening. So I'm always telling people, where's your people? Why aren't you connected to them? And back to that question from Mark too, you have to be super intentional about it. It takes work. It doesn't just happen on its own. You don't, to me, connection is not, hey, Mike, great to meet you. What a great guy you are. See you. Have a nice life, right? That is not me. I tell people every time I connect with them, I bounce them to virtual coffee as quickly as I can. And I tell them right off the bat, Mike, Isabel, I said, I'm a lifetime connector. So I'm really sorry to tell you, but you're stuck with me as your friend because I'm not going anywhere. Right. I mean, I want
Right.
to, and I want to stay connected. That's why I joined the Hounds. I want to stay connected with groups that are doing things that are happening. Somebody brought up Alignable. I did notice, I bounced into a few Alignable rooms. The only reason I bring that up is they've got some good opportunities there to really meet people quickly, and they're both in person and online. So there's things like that. And LinkedIn has a lot of those things within it. And, somebody was just telling me today, well, I was on LinkedIn, but everybody kept, hitting me up and selling me. And I was sick and tired of it. So I got off. Well, that's because you're attracting those kind of people. And they said, what do you mean? I said, you're really going to attract what you put out. So if you put out that I am fun and I am focused and I am driven to do amazing things and collaborate with amazing people, and you get around those people, then all those people start bouncing out of the woodwork. You get into the Hounds and you find all these amazing people. You get into the global tea break and you find all these amazing people all over the world. You get into all these groups and suddenly that's the people that are coming in your door. That's the people you're attracting. And you have less and less and less of the people just trying to one-off sell you right off the bat. You're still going to have that, but I can look the other way on that. And my favorite is, so great to connect. I love that. If you actually want to chat as a person, man, I'm here all day long. Here's my calendar link, but not buying anything right now because you have no idea if I need what you are selling because you don't know me. And so, the thing is, though, again, focus on the kind of people you want to attract, and you will attract those kind of people, and it'll be way easier than you think.
Amen, brother.
Woo.
I saw the quote today. I saw a quote by Simon Sinek, a little short video on Instagram or something. And the first thing that he says is, if you don't understand people, you don't understand business.
Exactly.
And that's the bottom line. And it is true in every single business that exists, especially if you're trying to sell like coaching services or consulting services, because if they don't buy you, they're not going to buy whatever you have to sell. Service, product, it doesn't matter.
That's a perfect point, because I had a boss that owned the company I worked for before, a good friend of mine, love the guy. He told me, hey, it's not all about you. And he was giving me a hard time. And I told him, I said, well, actually, it kind of is all about me.
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you mean? I said, because if people don't like me, they don't like you. If people don't like me, they don't like the company. Most of the people, the company that I worked for, I was so invested and I really worked so hard to build a community. 90% of the people I worked with thought I owned the company because I was so, so driven for this company. And that is a good thing because that attracted people to the company. And you find a way to move beyond just the person when you get them, when you're able to do business with them in a larger corporation. But you've got to have those personal connections, because if you don't have that, it's a recipe for disaster long term. You don't have close community and you don't build a good community with your business, and you have a bunch of one-off sales, it's not going to be sustainable over time. You've got to have community people that want to invest in you, want to use your product. And that is exactly what I do. I go to a group and I say, the Hounds, this chamber, whatever I'm involved in, where are the people that I need to work with in there that own the plumbing shop, that own the heating? I just had my furnace worked on by a friend that I met in a chamber meeting. And I intentionally use people that I want to bless and be in community with their business. And then he supports my business. It just goes hand in hand. And you don't really have to even ask for a lot of that. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, because in sales particularly, I mean, once in a while, I don't know about your experience, and I'm curious to hear about that, Ross. But in my experience as a salesperson in the field, like going to meet buyers, in my 9 years in sales, I've met one real professional buyer, that had studied that, and he wouldn't meet the potential sales rep in his office. So you like it would be an entire like completely neutral. So you wouldn't see the picture if he had kids. So you couldn't like connect on a human level, and that was his thing. But I met one in 9 years, and I met 25 people a week. And it's about people. It's about connecting to the other person and finding out what they like. And if you actually don't talk, if you let them talk, if you listen seriously, honestly, genuinely listen, and they feel seen, they feel valued, they feel heard, they will give you business they don't even have yet.
Oh my
Was
goodness.
that your experience when you were in sales?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I still am in sales to a certain extent. We all are. And sales is not a dirty word, by the way.
No.
I mean, we've taken the car salesman connotation and made all salesmen horrible, but everybody's selling something. You're selling yourself, you're selling a service, a product, whatever.
Yes.
But, Dale Carnegie and How to Win Friends and Influence People, a book that is timeless.
Yes.
And everybody watching, if you have not read that book, shame on you. It should be number one on your reading list. Number 2 book on your reading list should be the book by James Clear, Atomic Habits, because those 2 books will change your life. Getting around people and develop habits that make yourself a better person in life, and be able to sustain meeting people and growing your business and, scaling your business and all these salesy terms and marketing terms we use, right? I think the number one thing that people need to remember is that when you really build true community, things happen that are very good for you. Number one thing that happened, I start my business, I have a great community. What was the first thing that people said to me? Hey, Russ, how can I help you? I said, well, I have a few ideas. I got a few ideas how you can help me. People they're invested in you. They know, like, and trust you, right? They know, love, and trust you. They want to be involved with what you're doing. And I have had so many examples of that. In fact, I would take people out to lunch and they would say, thank you. And I said, for what? For not talking business during lunch.
Yeah.
And I said, you're welcome. And then next week they called and gave me business, right? I mean, I didn't have to sell them a business on lunch. And my favorite thing is just showing up to an office and bringing them all coffee. On the way there, I'd say, hey, let's have a break, guys. What does everybody want? I'm swinging by Dutch Brothers. What does everybody want? And they send me their orders. I bring them coffee and we all hang out and chat. You want to build a community, do things that are non-threatening, non-salesy. That's why I have a workshop that I do that I love called How to Turn Cold Calling into Making Friends. That's what it's all about. I always train my team, forget about selling, go make friends. And the first person you make friends with is who? The person that greets you when you walk in the door.
Yes.
They become your best friend and you move on from there. And that's what you should do with life, I think.
How is it like we all hear like horror stories from corporate America and like pretty much all of my network is in the US and my target market is in the US. Sorry, Christina, I'm saying it the Canadian way. And all you hear is bad vibes, bad way of dealing with people, bad blah, blah, blah. And yet everybody I meet on LinkedIn that are from the US and that, were in corporate America or still are in corporate America are like super nice. And they're like you and Mike, and they're friendly and they're heart-centered and people-oriented and build like make friends first and then you'll have clients. And so where's the disconnect I'm missing?
I don't know. I think we've been trained in kind of an old school way. And it's kind of like the car salesman thing. If we don't get you while you're here and get you to commit and buy that thing, we're going to lose you forever. Right. And that's really a horrible way to do business. And, I think the number one thing is you need to make them care about you. John Maxwell says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Show people you care. How do you do that online, everybody? you get on this show and you start making comments and you show the host you care, you show the guests you care, you show the other people in the comments you care. You get in there and you show them that that they're worth your time. And then everybody says, I like this. I'll use a good example. Kenny Dunner. He showed up in the comments of every show, never was on a show. Everybody just loved the guy because he was everywhere supporting everybody, right? And that was because he showed everybody he cared and he was complimentary and, saying all these crazy fun things. And just a good example of showing people and investing in them. That's how you build community, by investing in others first. Give to others, and then you'll be given back to. It's just part of the process, right? And I think the disconnect really, Isabel, is that the old way people were trained, that wasn't how you do it, man. You got to get in there and sell them, and you got to do that right now. And when you walk in that door, man, if you don't walk out with a sale, you've been a failure. And that is not true. That's the furthest thing from the truth.
Oh, let me interject, because this question goes into what we're talking about. Hold that question for me. It's farming and fishing versus hunting. That's how I frame that. I teach, social media marketing and business, and I talk about this same thing. So let's load you up with this, because you've seen both worlds, right? The old school was go in there, make the sale, pretend to care, blah blah blah. Now people can smell that, like like dog poo on your shoe. So now you can't fake it. You can imitate it. But so here's the question from Mark Reed. What if you are great at meeting people and networking, but you're crap at sales? What's your take on this?
Okay, let me tell you, you got to have some cojones and actually ask the question. You got to get to the point where you actually ask for the sale, and that is not a bad thing. So you're going to feel what I've always trained my teams. You're going to feel people out and the situation, and how some people are going to walk in the door and want your product right away, and they're going to start asking you questions. They're going to be interested. Man, don't jump back into the networking mode. If they want to buy from you, right, hop on the bull and ride and say, here we go, let's do it. And I'm glad to help you out, because they're driving the process. If they're not doing that and they're smelling a salesperson walking in the door, start talking about their daughter who's behind them in a picture that plays soccer, and tells them, you know what, my little girl, she loves soccer. And say, how long has your daughter played soccer? And shut up and start building that know, like, and trust factor, and let them tell you about their daughter and their family and all the things that are going on. But boy, the minute you get in there and they ask about sales, go for it. And you do have to work people to the point, and I don't mean that negatively. You need to drive the process to the point where you get people either interested in asking you, which will happen a lot, or they're so comfortable with you that you can easily ask the question. Let me use a good example. All of my live streams are monetized, right? So you had sponsors on your show. All of my live streams are monetized. I realized early on, I love live streaming, but I can't do it if I don't make some money. I can't pay my assistant. I can't actually pay the bills. I've got to make some money off it. And so I just reach out and I just build community. And a lot of it started with the community I'd already built. And as I built community, I get more and more people from around the country, around the world, that are like, hey, we love what you're doing. I'd love to sponsor your live stream. That would be great. You got to ask that question, though, because if you don't, they're not going to buy from you. So that's my thing to you. If you feel like you are lousy at the selling, look at it like making a friend and just asking a question. No big deal. No big deal. Isabel, you want to be a supporter and get great benefit out of the amazing things you get by being a sponsor of Marketing with Russ, aka #Russ Selfie. It is an amazing thing for you. But you know what? Number one, you support my vision and all the things that I'm doing. And it would be such a blessing. It would be such a blessing to me if you do that. But you know what? No big deal. We're friends first. Love you in spite of whatever your answer is. And most people, when you treat them that way, even if they can't say yes, they don't feel awkward, because if they can't say yes, it's like, cool, no worries. But then you got to back it up. You got to back it up, because if they don't want to do it, you can't go away, because that's an instant, like you were faking it and you were the whole time. You've got to be genuine in the process. And I think it makes things easier when you do that, when you just start a process where you actually ask that question, but you stick with the base of what you're all about, people know who you are at that point, and I think it becomes a lot easier than you think.
Yeah, Russ, dude. Y- That's spoken by experience. Very
Yeah.
good sage knowledge, man. People, if you took notes, you go back and watch it, take a note because this is truth. All right. So I teach this. I give the playbook because it's so robots are talking to robots. People don't have time, but we still crave belonging. And so here's what I've
Right.
learned. Everyone's been screwed by someone, so no one trusts anyone, especially on LinkedIn. And then I look at everything like dating, right? Like if you go from, first base to home plate in 5 seconds, that's called assault, right? We wouldn't do that in person, but then we go online and do it like I did for a year and a half because I didn't know any better. So it's real simple, man. I agree with you. It's go out there and share your crayons, practice your kindergarten skills, right? Pack principles, and if the right people. It's like playing a game of ping pong. It's reciprocity. If I go do something nice for Russ, it's not that I'm trying to manipulate Russ or what I'm trying to do is create the ecosystem. It's like having a speed dating system. I
Mhm.
can't
Right.
make that lady like me, but I can stick a whole bunch of ladies in this system and then one of them's going to eventually, right? And that's what we're trying to do, attract and repel. And I love your style, Russ. That's what you do. You give people permission to say no. You let them say yes. But I think it hinges on one thing. Isabel, I love your take on this. It's I don't care if someone says yes or no. What I care about is you know what the heck you're saying yes and no to, right? Get the information, make an informed decision, and we trust your judgment. And I think that I go out there and I love on people before I even meet them in the Zoom. So, like I had an attorney get referred to me. I go out there and I start tagging her and bringing her to other people and doing stuff. And then when we have the Zoom, do you think she's going to be happy? Of course she's going to. It's going to be a much more fun Zoom because I went and did nice things to help boost her. Didn't ask for nothing in return, don't expect anything. But if I help Russ, it's like shaking the bag of treats for your dog when they're going to come running. Like Russ is the type of guy who has to pay it forward. He's going to look for an opportunity. And that's what I mean. It's such an opposite concept. So Izzy, you have a background, you work with sales and amp those sales departments up. What is it in your opinion? Like how do you view this?
How to approach them and how to love on them before getting the sales.
Yeah, yeah, that's your style, but what is your kind of that's kind of why you do your live streams and these kind of things, right? To bring value first so you get to
Yeah.
know somebody, makes it way easier.
Well, honestly, Mike, I do my live just because the hell I like it. Because it's that's a fun thing to do. I look forward to my Thursday morning live at 10, and I look forward to talking to. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow, Lisa Marie, my guest at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Um, and just
Just had
because,
Lisa Marie on my show too. It was
yeah,
great.
well,
She's
and she's so amazing. And
She is.
I do it because and Mike, you've seen my video. I mean, heck, you're the one that puts it on there when you're so kind into running the back end of my show. But it's because business is about people.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter that I don't talk about what I do for a living on my show. It doesn't matter that I'm not the focus of my show. It doesn't matter. It's actually better. And does that mean that I never talk about myself? No, that's not what it means. It's a conversation, but it is the intention is to put the spotlight on the other person. And I
Mhm.
think that any salespeople, and Russ, I wholeheartedly agree with you. We are all in sales. You try to negotiate where you're going to go on vacation with your wife. That's sales. You're trying
Yeah.
to sell your idea to your wife. You want to buy that cottage in the country. That's sales. You're trying to sell your idea. So we all do it. It's not a dirty word. It's just, yeah, you need to build this thing. It has to be organic.
Right.
If not, well, of course, if you're Walmart and you're selling shampoo, maybe you don't need to invest your whole heart in it. But when you're in the people business, they need to trust you. They need to like you. They need to want to spend time with you.
Right. Because when you have to force people into a sale or into a relationship, it's never going to be good. It's got to be a two-way street. And when you're in the people business, which we all are,
Yes.
the number one thing is you've got to find common ground. You got to build relationship. You need to, I think I like how you said that, Mike. You got to give them permission to say no. And some people say that is a horrible sales strategy. Well, actually, it's not, because when people feel comfortable and they can say yes or no, you know what people say to me normally? Hey, I am so sorry, I can't do it this month, but hey, keep asking. I'm thinking maybe this summer I'm gonna be in a better spot.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're building customers down the road. And you brought up Walmart, which is really interesting, because let me give you an on-hand example. In Salem, Oregon, I shopped at Walmart years ago. I'm not sure that I can do that too much now, but years ago I shopped at Walmart, and I was sales and marketing manager for a family business, which was a landscape tree service business, and we did maintenance of commercial sites. And I would go in and out of Walmart, and I got to know the manager. And people said, well, how did you get to know the manager? I said, well, first of all, their pictures were on the wall. And when I saw the manager, I would say hi to them. It's kind of a strange concept, everybody, but if you pay attention and you say hi to people, you can actually become friends with them. So we would just talk, and he knew what business I was in, and we would just chat, and he was with another company. It was like 7 years, people, of building relationship. And one day he says to me, hey, Russ, listen, I got a question for you. He goes, I can't ever get a hold of my landscape guy. I try to get him in here. They don't take care of our Walmart like they're supposed to. You shop at my store. You're here all the time. He goes, and you're my friend. He goes, is it okay if I just switch my business over to you? And I said, let me think about that. Yeah, I think that would be fine. I think we could take care of you. Because of him and that relationship, I got every single Walmart in Salem. But it was all through relationship, and it was because I hung in there. I knew he was with somebody else. I knew he wasn't going to be my customer right away. I have another business, a medical group here in town, that I was with maybe 12 years. I was even their patient before they gave me their business. And so you just got to hang in there. It's just a matter of getting your priorities straight and realizing that you got to care about people. You got to be in there. You've got to ask for the sale at some point. But at the same time, you got to be willing to take no and not take it personally and still hang in there.
And you know what, Ross? I find that one of the great ways, especially if you feel that you're not good in sales, a great way is to start the question by what are the chances that I'm gonna get whatever? What are the chances that I get bumped to first class? What
Yeah.
are the chances that I get upgraded on this hotel room? What are the chances of, because that is so non-threatening. And if the person says, "Oh, well, you know what are the chances that I get your business?" If the
Yeah.
person says, "Oh, you know what, like not right now." Okay, is it okay with you if I, check back in with you in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year, whatever
Yeah.
the length of time is necessary for the kind of services that you provide. But for me, what are the chances is so non-threatening, because it's just a question. You're not pushing anything down their throat. You're just asking a simple question, and perhaps the answer is no, and that's okay.
Yeah. If you don't ask that question, Isabel, that is so good. And it's funny you bring that up. If you don't ask that question, it's probably not going to happen, right? Because they're probably sitting there wanting to work with you, but they don't even know how to approach it. And so if you don't ask that question, I learned from my pastor. I decided to try it. I'm sitting there chatting with the person, you brought it up, on the airline desk. And I said, hey, so how are things going for you today? Great. I'm building rapport quickly, right? Talking to them about the airport, asking questions and listening, and building some rapport, making friends. And then at the end, I said, "Oh, hey, you're amazing. Thank you for all your help. I appreciate that. By the way, if you have seats open and you just have to bump somebody to first class or up to whatever, just let me know. I'm just sitting over there." Sure enough, I'm only there 15 minutes. My beautiful wife and I are sitting, and she waves at me and brings me over and upgrades us because I asked the question. That's all it took.
Exactly. Because you dared and you were polite about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we all share this. People in the comments, the hounds, future hounds in the comments. I see you scan that. We want to talk to you. But here's my recap before we get to our signature question, right? First of all, me and Russ are 1,000%. You can argue if I'm putting words in your mouth, but I am sick and tired of seeing bald people buying haircuts, right? So people are buying stuff they don't need. They're falling for, yeah, see, wax, not a cut, right? So what, and that's what the hounds is really one of the benefits of the hounds is that nobody's going to try to sell something you don't need or to force that on you. But it's like, hey, if I have a last minute interview and then there's Russ's barber shop, well, now I'm good with it. Like, oh, thank goodness that you're here. I need to get my mullet cut before my interview. So number two, we wouldn't even be at the cell again if you do this the right way, right? I teach this stuff. If you plant the seeds and you do all the things you need to do, and you go through this dating style relationship building process and your marketing and your networking, here's what should happen. We wouldn't even be to the so-called sales call if it was going to suck. Like you're not going to go that far down my funnel and we're going to argue and I'm going to persuade you. I got this much convincing in me and it sucks. Okay. So I'm not even going to go there. And number three, one of the benefits, and this is why we get along so well in the pack, right? If they come to me and they say, hey, I want to hire you, I did the math. 75% of the people who come to me to hire me, I say no. And it's not a stupid sales pitch or a tactic. It's because they need Dr. CJ, they need Christine, they need Isabel. And you know what that does, right? Like, hey, don't hire me because that's not the best bang for your buck. Go hire them first. And when they get that, when they get you taken care of, then you come back to me. There's no sales pitch because you just did what the person needed. They're elated. And now they come back and say, I want to work with you because, yeah, because I did you right. And that's what
Mhm.
makes us all a cohesive unit. So let me wrap this up with Russ and tell me if you agree, Russ. The only three options that we encounter daily is clients now, clients later, and people who send us both. Because we treat people fairly, we actually care about them, and we rather them say good things. Because I don't want somebody going through my stuff and say it's okay. I want them to go, this is the greatest shit I've ever done in my life. You should do it. Anything to add to that, Russ? Because that's why me and you are birds of a feather, I think.
Well, I completely agree. First of all, I would rather just be friends with somebody and have them say fabulous things about me to others than ever try to force them into any kind of business sale or relationship that they're not happy about, right? I want them to, my purpose and my why in life is to inspire and encourage everybody to live a purpose driven life of significance, to be a world changer, a difference maker, to do amazing things. And if I'm not the person to help them on that journey, I'm just like you. I'm telling them to go to Isabel, go to Mike, go to CJ. CJ was throwing in a thing on the comments about one of the workshops she does. Everybody should be uh, checking out what CJ's got going on. Everybody should be checking out what Mike and Isabel have going on. I am always promoting on my live streams what other people are doing, even if they do the exact same thing that I do. And I've had people say, why do you do that? I mean, aren't they like your competitors? I'm like, no, listen, I'm a firm believer that we rise together. If I make the people in my industry around me doing the things that I'm doing better, they're going to be right there for me, helping me rise and do things better. And you know what? The number one determining factor for all of you out there is you. You are what makes you different. You are what sets you apart from the crowd, because some people love Mike's hat better than my hat. I wore this today just to fit in with Mike. I tell you, some
Yeah,
people like Isabel's headphones better than my AirPods. I mean, some people, her smile is way better than Mike's and mine. So some people like that better. And you know what? That's what makes us all unique and different. And there's people that really want to work with me, and there's people that really want to work with you. And that's the way it should be. And then we all can work together, right? We can all come together and write this book called Beyond Boundaries that we all put a chapter in and did amazing things. We can all come together. I've written 4 collaborative books in the last 8 months that have been international bestsellers, that have been #1 on Amazon. I could not have done that by myself. I could not have done that by myself. And that is what is amazing about life. And you come together, you do these amazing things. And you're right, Mike. I mean, I am the first person to say, no, you don't need me. What you need is Mike. He's the guy that's going to help you out, because they're going to come back to you. And what is that called? That is called, have we all watched Miracle on 34th Street? It's the Macy's effect. It's the Macy's effect when Santa Claus is sending everybody to Gimbals and to other stores because Macy doesn't have what they need. And then Mr. Macy realizes, wow, this is gold. Everybody loves us and is coming to us because we're sending them to everybody else. And that is what you need to do. Be authentic, genuine, and look out for what people really need, not what you really need.
Man, Russ just stole my. Hey, he just gave away my whole inner core. That's it. That's it.
There you go.
Treat people well. Capture the heart. You capture the person. My
That's
Right.
mentor taught me that. And here's the caveat: if they don't have a heart, well, talk to somebody who does. There you go. But this is the final question, and thank you, Russ, because I love people hear me say it, but when they hear you, because you've done it, you're out there making things happen. You're leading from the front. You're a servant leader. You know your stuff, but before anybody gets to know your knowledge, they like you, and that's why we love having you in the house. You're a great fit. We're not perfect, but we put other people's best interests at heart. That's
Right.
what separates us. I will never do anything on purpose to hurt someone, to put my interests above other people. That's why we exist, and this is why we have a dream team here. And yeah, everybody, Russ, LinkedIn, obviously, and we'll ask this question, but before everybody goes thinking I'm done, where can people find you? LinkedIn and where else?
Well, yeah, LinkedIn is great, but my number one place is russhedge.com. I'm a simple-minded guy. If you know my name, you know how to get a hold of me. Russhedge.com has all my connection links. Forget about Linktree. Just go to russhedge.com. All of my links, everything that you want is there. That is a picture from my website. And you know what? There's something free right at the top. And I'm not giving it to you free to try to trick you. I'm giving it to you free to make you better. And if you watch my little video and you get my free stuff and you think, this guy's cool, I'd love to be able to explore this more, let's jump on a call. The call's free. I mean, let's get to know each other. And then you think, you know what? This is the kind of person I want to work with. That's the people I want to work with. I'm not old. I'm 60 years young this summer. 60 years young this summer. I can't believe that. But I want to work with people that want to work with me. I don't want to pull people in the door because I'm sorry, if I have to pull you in the door, I don't really want to work with you, honestly. But if you think this is a cool relationship and you want to work with me, that's the kind of people that I want to hang out with and work with. And russhedge.com is a place. Love live streaming. And Isabel, let me just say, keep it up because that is great visibility. People get to know who you are right through live streaming, and then they know if they want to work with you. And so russhedge.com is my number one place. And thanks, Mike and Isabel. This has been amazing.
It was such a great show. I couldn't believe it was already like the first time I looked at the clock, it was 7:49. I went, what do you mean 49 minutes went by? What are you crazy? Yeah.
He was here for 2 minutes trying to leave, and now look, we can't get him to stop at 8. How about that? We won him over. Man, I am the king. All right, well, hopefully Gabe Lill's not watching. He's the king, but
Usually, Mike, you have a signature question.
yeah, let's go ahead and do it for everybody falls out. So, hey, so there, and this is to everyone. All right. So there's a little baby Russ Hedge out there or something, right? And they're new to the game, and they're a little nervous, a little scared. You know, they're shy. Who knows why? But they're just hesitant to reach out and really connect with people. Man, what's your best advice or experience to get them to do that little baby step, to get that courage to go? Just what's the first thing they could do? What's the first obstacle to remove?
Well, I love that question because you can be an introvert and still be amazing connector and community builder. That's because it's all about your perspective. Listen, everybody, don't put all this weight on yourself. Like you have to do these amazing things like Mike is doing and like Isabel are doing. You don't have to change the world overnight. It only takes one little step at a time. Just like James Clear says in Atomic Habits, 1% better. Just do little teeny things that move you in the direction that you want to go. Go into the kind of crowd of people that you want to meet and talk to one person and get to know them. Don't put a bunch of weight on yourself. Don't make yourself have to do things like Russ Hedge does, where I go in and meet everybody in the room at the same time. Just take one little step. It's okay. You don't have to be like somebody else. And I think when you don't try to be somebody else, just be you, be the best you can be. meet one new person, do one new thing, just take little baby steps. And you know what? You're going to find out that it's going to become easier and easier. I've turned introverts in salespeople and marketing people that meet thousands of people and find that it's really not that hard because I've taken the pressure off them in the beginning. That's what you need to do. Just get out there, smile, and say hi to people and have fun.
Hey, real quick, I love it. Introverts stop trying to be extroverted, and extroverts for some reason be introverted. It's like trying to teach a dog to meow, dadgummit. Just be the best introvert. Don't stop it and talk to me because I'm the introvert's cure, man. I know exactly what to say. Then in 5 seconds, and you'll be out there kicking butt. So yeah, I'm gonna be the introvert.
Dadgummit. I love it.
Yeah, everybody's thirsty. We gotta keep saying. All right, Isabel, what is
Yeah.
your wisdom on the baby steps? Somebody's nervous, they're new to this game. Maybe this is the first time they've even heard of networking online or in person. What do you think? What's your
Just
advice?
ask a question and actually care about the answer. Ask a question to really, truly, genuinely find out something about somebody else and care about the answer. And not when they're saying the answer, thinking of how you're going to share that. Don't ask the question so you can answer it. Just sit there and listen to the answer. That's my number one.
Yeah, I've actually started doing that more than normal. So, which like I seen who was it? Kofi and D Grant Smith. Like I'm watching them guys and I'm like, I'm practicing and I'm getting better. All right. So Mr. Lion with the coffee. What is your experience? Because you have a vast experience, man. Corporate, military, you do a lot of great stuff. So what is your thing about somebody who might be a little apprehensive or uncomfortable with networking? What can they do?
That's a great question. I thank you for asking me that. And I think probably one of the best ways I can sum it up is from the scene from one of my favorite movies. It says it the best. And I want to show you so you can understand a little bit more. Yes. Oh, I just get chills. You stay focused. That's my answer. Your best salesmanship is still inside. Now time to let out. There you go.
Actually, we should just roll the outro. Like that was really good, man. How long have you been practicing that backstage?
There's nothing else to say, dude.
There ain't nothing else to say. Yeah, hey, join the pack. Courage before confidence. Don't do the stuff alone. Join us. Let us support you. Let's do this. Hey, somebody hit that outro button for me. We'll see you on the next week. Janine, it's going to be awesome. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.